Let me bring in Mahesh Jethmalani, now senior advocate of the Supreme Court, who's joining us live. Mr. Jethmalani, this report talks about half-burnt currency notes which were seen when the firefighters were putting out the blaze which spread to the storeroom in question. Many would say that this particular report completely nails Justice Varma and shows that his family and only his family had access to the storeroom, and that there was no scope of any outsider getting access without permission. So my question then is this now an open and shut case?
Maria, your question has multi-dimensions, frankly. But yes, I mean, this report, this inquiry report, finally in the public domain, certainly discloses or puts Justice Varma in very poor light, right? In fact, there is a suggestion that there was an attempt to, or it actually happened that the money was removed from the premises after it was located, videoed, etc., by the fire and the police, and then it ceased to be there on the next day as well. So there are, the report itself has many startling findings, some which we've come to know about for the first time with the publication of this report. But, the issue is one of criminality. I keep repeating this in every interview which I've had on the subject, that impeachment is a process and a little cumbersome one, right? Which unfortunately, because the judge refuses to resign in spite of everybody calling upon him to do so, right? The parliament is forced to take, because nobody has, it is only for removal of him from office, right? The criminality, right, has to be by virtue of a permission of the Chief Justice of India, which has been recognized by that very famous case in 1991 of 5 judges of the Supreme Court, right? That is of Veeraswamy's case. I mean, this incident now happened on the 14th of March, right? We are more than 3 months from the date of that fire and the discovery of this money. It behoves the judiciary, right, to quickly clean up, and one way or the other, be fair as possible to Justice Varma, but to bring this to a swift conclusion, because every day that passes from that unfortunate episode, right, and of course some of the events in its aftermath, right? First a transfer, nothing done, then Allahabad High Court sort of protests against them, bar associations all over the country start howling, unfairness, why should judiciary get, and then of course the whole process starts. So there has not only been, in my view, right, delay in the matter, but there's been some procedural reluctance as well in this case, so which is most unfortunate, right? If the Chief Justice is the final authority for sanctioning a criminal case or the registration of an FIR against a High Court or Supreme Court judge, right, then suo motu it should have been done, right? All right, if Justice Sanjeev Khanna wanted to wait, Chief Justice Sanjeev Khanna, as he then was, wanted to wait for an inquiry report to fortify himself, right? The inquiry report was in his possession before he actually retired, right? What is the point? I mean, I find the ball being thrown all the time by the judiciary to the legislature or the government, right? So impeachment only removes, or will serve to remove, if successful, Justice Varma from office. Now, Justice Varma is obviously going to go out dragging and screaming, because if he were to resign, right, if he were to resign, he would lose the protection of Veeraswamy, which says he can't be prosecuted unless the Chief Justice gives sanction. So we are in a terrible catch situation, 22 situation, which only the Chief Justice now can resolve. So let's await the return. I'm told Chief Justice Gavai is abroad at the moment and is expected to return tomorrow. So let's hope things speed up on his return. This is, as you said, as I keep repeating, impeachment is only to remove him from office. His prosecution, if he is to be prosecuted at all, can only be by the sanction of the CJI of India. CJI.
Yes. Mr. Jethmalani, there is a contrarian view, which is that there are a lot of presumptions in this report. And this report will not be able to stand in the court of law. There are more questions than answers after this report has been submitted. So is there a sense of jumping the gun as well as, as far as this report is concerned? And is Justice Varma, has he not been given a fair hearing? I want to know your opinion on this.
Well, I don't think there's any contrarian view which doesn't say there should be a criminal investigation, right? If this kind of amount of cash was found, and if you read between the lines of the inquiry report, right, the money is of a while they don't quantify it, they keep saying huge amounts. I mean, the bundles of 500 are found both on the ledge and on the floor to be 1.5 feet high, and it says it covered from the door to the other end of the room. 500 rupee notes. So, this kind of money was found in the possession of any ordinary citizen, right? And the question is one of possession. Right? It was always a criminal offense, whichever way you looked at it, right? Whether this money was put there by Justice Varma or someone on his behalf, or whether it was put by anybody else, as he says, to falsely implicate him, this was always a criminal offense revealed, right? The only question was, who done it? And since judges were involved, the Chief Justice of India had to be informed, and he had to take a call on whether to sanction a criminal investigation against him or not. Now, after all this material, you let the public decide whether there's enough material for sanctioning at least an investigation. The investigation might, after all, find Justice Varma completely innocent. We have now gone through pre-FIR stages in the form of a 3-judge, 2 Chief Justices and another puny judge of a High Court. 3 of them have now had an inquiry, and they've said that there is enough material to suggest that money belonged to Justice Varma. Short point. If that money belonged to Justice Varma as they held, right, is it not that this for a criminal prosecution? Because it's a clear disreport assets by a public servant.
All right, Mr. Mahesh Jethmalani, really appreciate your time here on NDTV. So you heard from Harish Salve, Mukul Rohatgi, Mahesh Jethmalani. You can form your opinion with regards to this case. We are slipping into a short break. Coming up would be an exclusive interview with Karnataka Minister Priyank Kharge.